Hello friends, this is your favorite neighborhood nerd, Simone. I'm here today to share an evaluation of the fountain pens that I had inked for the most of August and September. Because I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to talk about them. And yeah, it's time for something else. I originally had 9 pens inked. One isn't here anymore. I will talk about it when we get there, but just as a quick reminder, I had the Sailor Pro Gear. This is a collaboration with Yoseka. It's called Origin with a fine nib. Then I had the Benu Gourmet Pens Talisman Dark Unicorn with a medium nib. This is a 21 karat gold nib. This is a steel nib. Then another fail. I sold the shell, the pen, but I kept the nib and the ink. This is a 21 karat Sailor medium nib. I also had the Pelikan M800 in fine, inked with, I didn't even talk about that. So this one, it's an 18 karat gold nib. Then I had my Pilot Custom 823 with a 14 karat medium nib. There's a lot of gold nibs in this lineup. I am definitely someone who loves and prefers gold nibs over Yovo steel nibs. This is the Lamy Itoya Copper 2 Safari with an extra fine 14 karat Lamy nib. And then we have the Sailor 1911 large Wicked Witch of the West with a broad 21 karat gold nib. And then lastly, this is the Arkenstone by Mayfair, and this one has a falcon nib that I took off a Pilot Custom 742. So then we have one pen that will move over to the next rotation. This is the exact same pen as this one, and I inked it with the same ink and just did some experiments on how I enjoy the writing experience with this nib. Did some doctoring, and I can now say that they work exactly the same. So this month I did something a little bit different. I wanted to have my lineup here. I wanted to have space to rate the pen, to write a little snippet. I guess I'm going to give them letter grades, but I'm also ranking them. So this is number 9. And then I also wrote down, basically I took a book out of Chris Saines's way of exploring her pens and inks. But I decided that I wouldn't make myself use one page. I would just use as much as I needed, and it turned out to be that half a page A5 size would be enough for me to figure out what was going on. So the Sailor Yoseka Pro Gear Origin in fine has been inked for months now. Let me grab my book so I can tell you exactly. Yes, so this has been inked for months now, and I inked it on May 28th. I refilled this converter once, but it was so successful, and that's exactly what I wrote here, that this pen, every time I use this, it feels really good. I just enjoy the color. It's warm. I was a fan of this pen. Because I haven't done this before, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to rank them first, and then maybe I'm able to give a summary of the things. And maybe I'm turning off the camera while I'm writing this. I'm not yet sure, so please bear with me. This was great and very successful. Then I had the Hawktown Swansea in XL blue nebula with a extra fine Jowo nib first. And something was wrong. I'm not sure if that was because of the ink. I inked it with Diamine Writer's Blood. Even when I had it in this horizontal position, it would completely discharge all of the ink in the cap, or most of the ink in the cap, and I didn't know whether that was the ink's fault, maybe the converter was faulty, the nib, maybe there was a crack in the section housing. I didn't know what was happening. So I cleaned it off, re-inked it, used it, but I did not enjoy writing with it. So I had now to find out two things about this combo. Why does it feel so stiff, uncomfortable? Would a fine instead of extra fine be better? What makes the ink spill? Is it the nib housing, the ink too wet, the converter broken? I didn't know. So what I did was I went ahead, and because I didn't enjoy the writing experience, I chose a fine Jowo nib, and I also changed out the converter. Because I was going to change out the nib, the section housing would be different. The only thing that was going to be the same was the ink. And then this is what it looks like. And you can see just by the broader writing in the fine and the extra fine, there's more ink going on the page, and I did not enjoy that. So the feeling of this pen, the stiff feeling did not go away. Plus, I didn't enjoy how this looked. The ink there was too much ink on the page for me for this nib size. So I just kept going with it for a while, and then once I was done with all of those experiments, I decided, you know what? Why don't I just try and see if a completely different nib, the Monarch in fine, would work, and how would that writing experience be then with this pen? Because I'm still trying to figure out what makes this pen feel so stiff. So that's what I did. August 31st, swapped it out. And I really enjoyed the writing experience with this nib. However, 2 days later, all of my ink was in the cap, and I just gave up at that point. And that's what this entry is. Two things were off. Switched to Monarch fine on August 31st. I switched to a fine on August 24th. Two things were off. One, ink spills with different nibs and converters, no clue why. Super stiff Jowo nibs, not a great writing experience, trying to explore. So I decided that this was just going to be a fail, and was last on my list because of the stiff Jowo nibs. I'm really trying to figure out what it is about those nibs that I don't enjoy, because let's move on to the next pen, the Bienu Gourmet Pens Dark Unicorn Talisman in medium with Wearingool, a Star Child. This is a shimmer ink in this pen. Let's see how much is left. This is definitely ready to go. I loved the writing experience with this. It's a steel nib, it's a medium, and I just had the best time. The shimmer distribution isn't perfect, but that's not what I'm after when I am writing with a shimmer ink. What is important to me when I write with shimmer inks is that the pen or the feed doesn't clog. And as long as there is a little bit of shimmer here and there, I am totally good. So this was awesome. And I wrote that the ink color reminded me a lot of Campfire Crackle by Robert Oster, but I actually like that this is such a pink shimmer here when it comes through. And then because I really liked this so much, I was went out on a little ink exploration and checked all the bottles that I had in my collection to see if colors were similar. I also did one of these swatch cards. I thought this was a cool thing to do. And I found that Diamine Sepia and actually even Diamine P.W. Ackerman SBRE Brown were similar. What I decided to do once I swatched these was that I was going to take out Diamine Sepia. It's a very dry ink, and I just am not a fan of dry inks. I also took out Wearingeul Heimdall because that orange just isn't for me. Also quite dry. And I also took out Amarillo Stationery Toasty Joggers. This color is not... I am drawn to swampy colors, but this is not the swamp that I enjoy, and so I took it out of my collection and reduced it a little. This will give me the opportunity to, next time I place a Van Ness order, to maybe put Wearingeul the Star Child into the cart. I really enjoyed this pen as well. This was super good. So this goes over to the ones that worked well. This one goes over, this is already on number 9. The next pen that I explored was a pen that I no longer have in my collection. But what happened is that I really loved using the medium Pro Gear nib. I am a fan of Sailor nibs. And the medium size is just awesome. I really want a medium fine nib sometime. But yeah, I have other priorities right now. And so that will just have to wait until a great opportunity comes along. I really enjoyed this nib. And I started to wonder, because the pen that I had this nib in doesn't have the widest grip section, but it was super comfortable. And this Hogtown Swansea, for instance, has a wide grip section, but the Jowo steel nib wasn't comfortable. And then that made the whole pen uncomfortable. And so I am trying to figure out if that's what I wrote about here. I'm wondering if the nib is smooth and the writing experience with the nib is amazing, how much does the grip section actually influence my comfort level? That's a hypothetical question because I can't really answer that right now, but that is stuff that I'm thinking about when I'm writing these things. So this was awesome. It just wasn't this specific pen body. I'm really looking forward to using this again. So because of the fact that I don't have the pen body for this nib anymore, I'm not sure where to place it. Do I go with an incomplete? So this goes rather towards this side. Then after I did my Hogtown experiments, and then I went to the Pelikan M800 green demo with a fine nib. This is inked with Diamine Safari, definitely one of my favorite ink colors. And I decided, I think I talked about this in my currently inked video, that I would actually go ahead and ink up this Pelikan M800 cream blue or blue cream. Has a fine 18 karat gold nib as well, and test it out and see what happens. And so here I did film this exploration right here. And then I cut it out and stuck it in here because I wanted to have this in my yearly ink journal as a log. I filmed this and I wasn't sure if I was going to be successful. Inquiring Minds has a video on how to make a pen write a little wetter, adjust it to maybe get out some baby's bottom if that's an issue. And so I basically followed those instructions. This is the cream blue in the beginning. Then I did all of those tick marks. And then this is the cream blue after. There is a difference, but it's still not the same as the green demo. However, I put it aside, and then when I decided to log my experience here and wrote this, I found that the blue cream blue, wrote exactly the same as the M800 green demo, which makes me incredibly happy because this is the writing experience that I'm after. So I put that down here. Just wanted to let you know this is the pen that I'm rating, and this again was an amazing experience. So this is going on the plus side. Then I explored the Lamy Itoya Copper 2 Safari with a 14 karat extra fine nib. And I just find it so hilarious that this is called an extra fine nib when it's broader than a Pelikan M800 in fine, and most likely also broader. Oh, I forgot I had this one. I will talk about this. Or the similar width as a Sailor medium nib. That didn't derail me though, because I don't know, these gold nibs, and every time I'm talking about them, I'm excited. They're just something special. They're bouncy. They're super nice to write with, and make these Lamys, these Safaris, much more comfortable than they are with the steel nibs. That's what I mean. This is narrower, and I'm still loving how I write. So there we go. This was a great experience as well. But I forgot to talk about the Pilot Custom 823 in Amber. This is another one that was inked since even before that, I believe. So let's check. May 20th. We're almost in October now. And on May 20th, I inked up this pen with Pelikan Edelstein Appetite. It did feel a little like there was enough evaporation that the ink consistency was different. And so I wrote down that this feels like it needs to be cleaned. This is part of This Is Great collection. It's probably closer, not as good anymore as it was when it was freshly inked. But these pens always feel more like coming home. Like I'm putting them in my hand. I don't have any issues. I'm writing, I'm feeling it. It's great. Then there are pens like this one here, where I'm noticing after an A6 page that my arm, and especially this part right here, hurts, is tense, and I'm not really sure why that is happening. So all of the ink colors that I picked this month were amazing. I loved every single one. This is the last pen that I explored. I did not explore the Arkenstone because I didn't really know what to write. This has also been inked for quite a while, and I think I'm just ready to let go. So I inked this, let me see, in May. And I inked it even before that, I think. Where is it? What? Did I ink it even before? Or did I just not see it. Let's go. Did I not write it down? Oh, right here, June 28th. So it's also been in there for a while. I'm ready to move on. It was just when I came to exploring this pen, because I didn't write with it in my journal, I felt like, nah, not necessary. So here, Sailor 1911 large Wicked Witch of the West with a broad 21 karat gold nib, inked with Sailor Manio Fuji. First sentence is, I can't get over how much I love this ink. It's just so good, and I definitely want a bottle of it. It works amazingly well in this pen. This was just the perfect pen and ink combination. The broad nib made this ink legible. I didn't have any flow issues. Everything worked great, and I just love how purple and stealthy this pen is. Yeah. So that's the exploration that I did up to here. I did some samples and picking of new colors further for October, further in the back. But let's attempt at, maybe what I'm going to do is sort them by how much I like them. I think I'm going to do this as an incomplete and then see where I would rank these. So this one was a fail. Now, this is a special thing. I usually use this for titles, but it does work for actual writing too. So let's maybe this is hard. Ranking these when they were all quite successful is very, very hard. I think I wish this was a little broader. I do love when every time I write with this, I'm like, oh my God, this is so fine. Oh my God, this is so smooth. Oh my God, I love this. But it definitely is more on the finer side, and I'm more comfortable in a, probably with this one, I would feel better if it was a medium fine. So this was definitely better than the Custom 823, just because of the fact that this felt gooey-ish. This was better, so these go move back. This one I think I'm gonna put last here. And then this one was a fail, and this one is going to be ranked 8th. Let's just move this and that. The interesting thing is that I gravitated towards this Lamy Safari most. I think this would be the ranking that I love. So let's do this. Yeah, so there we go. This is the ranking. We will go here and then distribute the grades so that I can rank them, and then the ranking doesn't mean that the pen was inherently bad or anything. Let's see how that works. We can alter and change things around in October or November or whenever I'm done with the next ink rotation. I have thought about some colors, and I think there will be a video where I talk about just pull out some to share them, because I decided it doesn't really have to be a palette that I actually ink in a pen. I can just play with it. So this definitely was an A+. This is number 1. I think what is the most important thing is that this pen feels extremely comfortable. And the nib / writing experience is exceptional. Plus, the ink is one of my favorites of 2025. So I think after writing this first in line is definitely justified. So let's move over to the Benu Gourmet Pens Dark Unicorn. I think that's really, it's really hard. I think this one is also an A+. Let's just cover this up here. This one is number 2. The flow is outstanding and makes the writing experience smooth. That is what I have to just, every time I use these Schmidt nibs, it just feels better. So I am actually thinking of, instead of putting more money towards altering Jowo nibs, I'm starting to think of playing with moving some of these Schmidt nibs onto Jowo housings and see if that works, so that I could, you know, have maker pens that are threaded for Jowo sections, or Jowo housings, that I could put a Schmidt nib on there and then maybe get grinds on the Schmidt nibs instead of making myself, you know, use those nibs when they don't really work for me. Now, that doesn't mean that they are not working for you. There's so many people out there who enjoy Jowo nibs, and maybe you know, maybe it's because I say that I don't like them, that it's just self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. I'm not really sure. So, the Sailor 1911 Large Wicked Witch of the West, I think I'm going to rate this an A+ as well. So I have 3 pens that are A+ ratings. This is number 3rd in line. I think I'm going to write about the ink color as well. This ink color blows it out of the park. And on top of that, it's an outstanding. I love writing outstanding. Can you see? Ding. Combo. Yep, that's this. So we're getting somewhere, and I like how I'm doing this. Now this one, I think I'm going to give an A. And I have a reason for that. I will show you how I used these pens in a second. Here, this one is an A, and this is number 4. This feels like home. But the size of the nib is off. Like miles off. Can you see how this kind of has an architect feel to it? It's not round. There's some edge to this nib. The Sailor Pro Gear Yosaka Origin with a fine nib, I'm going to give this an A as well. And this is number 5. the warm hue of this almost black made me every time I used it. And this fine nib is just so fine that you can write on almost any paper with this. It usually doesn't bleed through, it doesn't feather. That's super cool. Now this, which is the Pilot Custom 823 in amber with a medium nib, is going to get an A-. And I'm also going to tell you why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is an A-. This pen, the pen was inked for too long, so it didn't perform as well. However, great balance. There's so many terms that I'm putting here. So writing experience is the overall experience when I'm writing with this pen. Like, is it scratchy? Does it feel good? What is the feedback that it gives to my soul, basically? The balance of the pen is, how does this pen lay in my hand? And this pen, every time I use it, is so well balanced that it just feels like a second, like the pen was attached to me. I don't have any problems. Is a really weird thing to say, but this one, this one rolls weirdly, for instance, or if I were to post it, this would be heavy and turn. None of this happens with the Pilot Custom 823, and that's what makes this pen just so good. I think I had this pen inked almost every single month in 2025. So that speaks for itself. And I'm returning to it over and over again over other pens, which makes me sometimes then hesitant to say that maybe if I want to ink this all the time, I don't need the 15 other pens that I have. So let's talk about the Arkenstone. This was a great pen. I think I'm going to give this a B because of its limited use cases. 7. So what am I going to write? This is a special use pen and has its limitations. And the limitations I can show you right now. However, it performed well. Then I'm just not going to write more. I am having a very, very hard time writing with this pen without flexing the nib. And it's not very comfortable. It doesn't feel good to not use it when I'm writing with it flexing. You can see the color has definitely undergone some changes since I first used it. And that is because this also has been inked, as I said, since June 28th. So their evaporation can be expected and thus darkening of the ink. Now, because it has special use case and I only used it occasionally for something like, where is it? Here for my pen preferences, I wrote to this. This is fun. I love doing this, but I'm not writing a whole journal entry like this. So it did have limited use. That's why it's on place number 7 and it got a B. Now, I will put this in 8th place and give this an incomplete. However, I will write about the nib. I love me a Sailor Pro Gear nib. I can't go wrong with those. And I'm falling for swamp. I love these swampy colors and I kind of need them in my regular lineup. Every month, every time I ink a new rotation, I want something like this in it. Again, very clearly you can see that there is a discoloration, or it's darkened up quite a bit. I'm not sure if that happened with this specific pen or if it was before, but nevertheless, I like both colors. This one is actually even a bit more legible. So thank you so much for joining me for this review. I hope you enjoyed the way I set it up. If you have any commentary to it, let me hear it. Be nice about it. Let me see if I can change it. If not, well then, next time you're not going to watch it. Until I'm going to ink up and pick some pens, I will see you soon. Bye.